Dear friends, there comes a stage in life when silence becomes more valuable than speech, when peace becomes more important than approval, and when your calendar becomes less about what others want and more about what your soul can carry. That stage, interestingly, often begins after 70. And at the heart of that transformation is a very small word. A word so simple that even a child can say it, yet so powerful that even a lifetime is sometimes not enough to master it. That word is no. The hidden burden of always saying yes. Let me begin with a simple observation. Many people don't become tired because of age. They become tired because of overcommitment. A 72-year-old gentleman once said something very honest. I don't feel old because of my body. I feel old because I can't say no. Think about it. How many times in life do we say yes when our heart is already saying, please don't? Yes to obligations we don't want, yes to conversations that drain us, yes to expectations that were never ours in the first place, yes to guilt disguised as duty, and slowly, without realizing, life becomes a long list of permissions given to others and a forgotten self left behind. The story of Mr. Iqbal and the weight of yes. Let me tell you about Mr. Iqbal, a retired school principal, a man respected by everyone in his town. Discipline in his walk, kindness in his voice. After retirement, something interesting happened. His house became the community help desk. Someone needed a reference letter, Mr. Iqbal. Someone needed financial help, Mr. Iqbal. Someone needed advice, mediation, support again, Mr. Iqbal. At first, he felt valued, but slowly that value turned into exhaustion. One evening, his granddaughter found him sitting quietly in his chair, staring at a blank wall. She asked, Dada, are you okay? He smiled faintly and said something profound. I spent my whole life teaching students how to set boundaries in their lives, but I never set any in mine. That night changed him. The next day, someone came asking for help again. And for the first time, he paused. He didn't rush. He didn't panic. He simply said, not this time. And surprisingly, the world did not collapse. Instead, something beautiful happened. He started breathing again. Not just physically but emotionally. Why the 70s are a spiritual turning point, friends? Let us understand something deeply. In your early life, yes builds your identity. In midlife, yes builds your responsibility. But in later life, especially after 70, if you are not careful, yes becomes a trap. Because every unnecessary yes silently steals something precious. Your rest, your energy, your time, your peace. And at this stage of life, time is not just passing. Time is sacred. You begin to realize, I don't have infinite days left, so why am I spending finite energy on infinite demands? This realization is not negativity, it is clarity. The story of Mira Devi. When no became freedom, there was a woman named Mira Devi, 76 years old, living in a joint family. For decades, she was the emotional pillar of her home, cooking for everyone, adjusting for everyone, sacrificing for everyone. Her identity became simple, the one who never says no. But something changed after a minor health issue forced her to rest for a few weeks. During that pause, she experienced something she had not felt in years: stillness. And in that stillness, she heard her own thoughts again. When she recovered, she began doing something unfamiliar. She started saying, I can't come today, I need rest. I won't be able to do this. At first, there was resistance. Some relatives were surprised. Some even felt offended. But over time, something unexpected happened. People adjusted. And more importantly, she healed. Not just physically, but emotionally. Because for the first time in decades, she was not living as a response to others. She was living as a responsibility to herself. The emotional science of no. Let us understand something very practical. Every yes has a cost, even when it feels small. A phone call you didn't want to take, an A meeting you didn't need to attend, an A favor you didn't have the energy for. Each one may look harmless, but together they create emotional fatigue. And in later years, this fatigue becomes heavier than physical aging. Saying no is not rejection of people, it is selection of peace. It is not selfishness, it is self respect. The deep spiritual angle in spiritual wisdom. Boundaries are sacred. Even nature has boundaries. The ocean does not invade the land. The sun does not shine all night. The seasons change in rhythm. not chaos. So, why do we believe a human being must have no limits? Even Lord Krishna, in his divine wisdom, did not say yes to every request blindly. He acted with purpose, not pressure. He responded with clarity, not compulsion. That is the difference between living consciously and living constantly available. The fear behind not saying no now, let us be honest. Why is no so difficult, especially in old age? It is not lack of ability, it is fear. Fear of being forgotten, being judged, being seen as rude, losing connection. But here is a gentle truth. People do not value you more because you say yes to everything. They value you when your yes actually has meaning. A yes that is rare becomes precious. A yes that is constant becomes expected. A small shift that changes everything. Let me share something very simple. Instead of immediate yes, try this pause. Just pause and say, let me think about it. I will get back to you. I need to check my energy. This small pause is powerful because it reconnects you with your own life before you respond to someone else's. The freedom that comes after no friends, imagine this. A life where you wake up without guilt, you choose your conversations, you protect your rest, you honor your silence, you give your time only where it feels meaningful. That is not isolation, that is freedom with wisdom. And that freedom is most beautiful in your 70s because you are no longer proving anything. You are simply being. Final reflection, friends, as we come to the end of this reflection, let us sit with one simple truth. Life does not become less meaningful as we grow older, it becomes more selective. And in that selection lies the real wisdom of your 70s. For most of our lives, we are trained directly or indirectly to say yes. Yes to responsibilities, yes to expectations, yes to people, yes to roles, yes to proving ourselves. Somewhere in that long journey of agreement, we begin to forget that every yes quietly costs something, we time, our energy, and sometimes even our peace. But in your 70s, life gently changes its language. It no longer asks you to accumulate more. It invites you to simplify. It no longer demands performance. It invites presence. And in that shift, the power of no becomes not just useful but essential. Saying no in this stage of life is not rebellion, it is restoration. It is the understanding that your remaining time is not infinite and therefore it must not be spent on what drains you. It is the quiet courage to say, I have given enough of myself to the world. Now I must not abandon myself. There is a deep dignity in a well placed no. It protects your health, it guards your peace, it preserves your dignity, and most importantly, it returns you to yourself. Because after decades of living for others, the greatest act of love is to finally live without losing yourself in the process. And here is something beautiful. When you begin to say no with calmness, not anger, people do not lose respect for you. In fact, they begin to understand you more clearly. They realize your time is valuable. They realize your presence is intentional, not automatic. So, in your 70s, do not fear the word no. Learn it slowly, speak it gently, and use it wisely. Let it become not a wall that separates you from life, but a doorway that filters what enters your peace. At the end of life, success is not measured by how many people you pleased or how many requests you fulfilled. It is measured by how peacefully you lived with yourself. And sometimes peace begins with one small sacred word, no. A calm number, a kind number, a fearless number. A no that finally allows your life to say yes to you.